Moments ago, as the Rams came out of the tunnel, Tavon Austin and Kenny Britt acknowledged the events in Ferguson. And then they were joined by the rest of the receiving corps as they ran out onto the field. There is extra security here today, about 50 extra officers outside the Edward Jones Dome and some plainclothes officers down on the field as well. A stirring rendition of the national anthem, and we're getting set for football now in St. Louis between the Raiders and the Rams. Tony Sparano, the interim head coach for the Oakland Raiders, as they finally stopped a 16-game losing streak last week in that win over the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. The Rams won the toss and they have deferred, so Greg Zuerlein will kick it deep.
Think about that, Andrew, though, that 16 games, when you said that, it just kind of resonated with me. This Raider team finally getting that big win last week against the first place Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see if they can capitalize and build off the momentum that they gained from that win.
And a new return man for the Raiders is George Atkinson III, has been promoted off the practice squad. Of course, the son of George Atkinson Jr., who played 10 years for the Raiders, won a Super Bowl title. He is back deep to receive the kick from Zuerlein.
And he is a burner. He is very, very fast.
He also went to Notre Dame, if you want to acknowledge that, Mr. Zuerlein.
Thank you for mentioning that, yes. Not after yesterday, though.
No, that was a rough one. And Atkinson will take the knee. Oakland will start at the 20-yard line. And here's Derek Carr, leads all rookies in passing yards and touchdowns with 14 on the season.
This is a guy that I really felt coming out of the draft this past May actually now, was the top quarterback in this class, and he's really not disappointed. Sure, they've only won one game, but he is getting better and better each and every week, and the Raiders really feel like they do have their guy.
And Chris Long will start for the Rams. He was activated yesterday after missing the last 10 games with a tendon injury. Really, 2 tendons had to be replaced. He had surgery after an injury in week 1. And we have a stoppage now, and Gene Steratore held it up with Jeff Fisher. Of course, Chris Long, the son of Raiders great Howie Long. Appears one of the officials fell just before the first play from scrimmage. Now we're set to go. And Jeff Fisher told us he expects Long to go 25-30 snaps today, so we'll keep an eye on Chris Long throughout the course of the afternoon. 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
180!
With Latavius Murray out, Darren McFadden starts at running back. Carr looking deep down the sideline for Holmes, and he makes the catch, but he was out of bounds. Incomplete. I like Jenkins on the coverage.
I like the attitude that Tony Sparano and Greg Olson, offensive coordinator, coming out, going deep, trying to make a statement early in this game. You can see that left foot was down. We did not see the right foot get down in bounds, and he was not in complete control until he hit the ground out of bounds anyway, I believe. That ball was being bobbled a little bit. Right, correct call by the official.
180! What's up?
Give it to McFadden here on 2nd down, trying to get around Robert Quinn. He could not. Let's take a look at the Raiders starting offense, and Khalif Barnes will start at left guard, although we will see Gabe Jackson today. Menelik Watson starts at right tackle, and James Jones really become the security blanket for Derek Carr.
Yeah, he had that game winner on the audible from Derek Carr late in that ball game against Kansas City. He is Derek Carr's probably closest thing to a security blanket that he has.
Oakland 5th worst in the NFL on 3rd down, just 35%. And it's 3rd and 10. Rams showing blitz. They're coming. Carr throws it away. So the pressure was getting to Carr. He made the smart move, and the Raiders go 3 and out on their opening possession.
Well, this is a Ram defense that pressures more than any team in the NFL on passing situations. You can see all the 7 guys coming up front. Got Derek Carr off his spot, threw the rhythm off. This is a team that will continue to bring pressure all day long.
So Marquette King comes out to punt it away for the Raiders, and the dangerous Tavon Austin awaiting the punt at his own 30-yard line. Austin comes all the way up to the 37. Gets away from one. Austin now at the 40 and chased out of bounds by Chimney Chekwa at the 42-yard line. So the Rams will have good field position as Shaun Hill comes out, 34 years old, out of Maryland, making his 4th start of the season. Just 2 touchdowns and 3 picks on the year. A costly pick a week ago, late in the game in San Diego.
Yeah, it was a costly pick. That was they were on the 6-yard line, 2nd down, and Shaun Hill thought he had an open Kenny Britt coming across and just made a bad decision. That was an opportunity, golden opportunity for the Rams to beat the San Diego Chargers. Tough way to end the game.
The rookie Trey Mason starts at running back for the Rams. And there's movement on the line. Antonio Smith jumped across. And we'll see who jumped first. Again, Gene Steratore is today's referee. Getting to be a busy time for Gene, as many know. Also a NCAA basketball
Encroachment.
ref.
Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And that is on Antonio Smith. Raiders brought in some veterans this offseason. Antonio Smith, Justin Tuck, Lamar Woodley, who's now out for the year. We chatted with Tuck yesterday, and certainly having a good year on the field, but off the field, just the way he's mentored some of the young Raiders on defense has been a big part of that Oakland locker room. So 1st and 5 following the penalty. Play action to Mason. Now they dump it down to Harkey. The big guy has a 1st down into Raiders territory. Charles Woodson makes the tackle. 5th catch of the season for Corey Harkey. So take a look at the Rams starting offense, and Joe Barksdale, the former Raider, drafted by Oakland in 2011 and then cut. He said this game has special meaning for him going against his former team. And Jared Cook leads the team in catches with 37.
Now, he is a tight end I've always liked. And Jeff Fisher, they were together in Tennessee. He is a big part of this offense.
1st and 10 from the 46. And it's to Austin quickly, trying to find some space, makes one move, and tackled at the 40 by Terrell Brown. Take a look at the Oakland starting defense. We mentioned Tuck and the job that he has done mentoring some of the younger players, such as Khalil Mack, having a good year, the 1st-round pick out of Buffalo. And starting at corner is DJ Hayden.
Yeah, Carlos Rogers just placed on injured reserve, so DJ Hayden, he's going to be the first guy to get the opportunity to establish himself as the replacement for Carlos Rogers.
And a 6 by Austin on 1st down. They swing it to him again, this time on the other side. Gets around Terrell Brown and out of bounds for a 1st down. Trying to get the ball into the hands of the speedy Austin now on back-to-back plays.
You know, he's one of those guys that you just have to find ways to get the ball into his hands. The defense, when they see him get the ball, it just puts them on high alert, because if you make one mistake, he's the kind of guy that can make you pay very quickly. I like the attitude of Brian Schottenheimer, Jeff Fisher trying to get him involved early.
Finally had his 1st touchdown last week, but it came on the ground. Not a touchdown catch in 13 games. They fake it to Austin this time. Set up the screen to Mason the other way. Room to run, Mason down the sideline, inside the 5, and he's in. Touchdown, Trey Mason. First receiving touchdown in Trey Mason's career.
Well, you see the setup of the quick screen again to Tavon Austin to the left. That got the Raiders flowing that way. Trey Mason sneaks out to the right, and Antonio Smith almost sniffed it out, but not quite fast enough to stay with Trey Mason. That's a great call. Very well set up by the quick screens early to Tavon Austin. Touchdown, Trey Mason.
They just want to make sure that Mason did not step out of bounds. Call on the field is touchdown. How about Shaun Hill on that drive? 4 out of 4 for 54 yards. Touchdown is good. Here's Zuerlein for the extra point. So Trey Mason with his second career touchdown, first through the air, and the Rams jump out to a 7-0 lead. Trey Mason with a 35-yard touchdown catch to put St. Louis ahead 7-0. How about St. Louis? They've now scored 38 points on their opening possessions of games. That's the fourth most in the NFL. Meanwhile, the Raiders' defense has allowed over 40 points on opponents' opening possessions, second worst in the NFL. Atkinson takes another knee, and we go back to the touchdown.
Well, you're going to see the effect Tavon Austin had. You see him circled right there. This is following two screen passes to him in a row. The Rams brought Brian Schottenheimer, ends up setting this thing up so well by throwing the ball to him early twice. They fake another screen to him right there, and Trey Mason slips out of the backfield, and you got all the Raiders had pursued to Tavon Austin. Now you got an easy open lane for Trey Mason to get down the sideline.
Raiders went 3 and out and did not even get a yard on their opening drive. 1st and 10 from the 20. It's McFadden up the middle, and again stopped for no gain. Alec Ogletree with the tackle, 4 plays, no yards for the Raiders, and certainly Latavius Murray had that breakout game last week against Kansas City, but did not pass the final step of concussion protocol this week, so he is not out there. And it's McFadden, Jones-Drew, and Marcel Reese who will get the opportunities in the backfield today. It's a big loss for the Raiders.
180! What's up?
Carr throws right, caught by Reese, and he's dragged out of bounds at the 28 by T.J. McDonald. Let's take a look at the Rams defense and Chris Long. First game since week 1 gets the start. All 4 on the front for St. Louis are first-round picks. Alec Ogletree, also a first-round pick at linebacker. And in the secondary, Janoris Jenkins having a big season.
A second-round pick, but having a big season. He's already got 6 touchdowns, defensive touchdowns in his career. Had the big one against San Diego last week.
Reese got 9, so it's 3rd down and 1. Carr back to the air, nobody home. Pressure was coming from Corey Toomer. Check that, Jolon Dunbar brought the pressure, and another 3 and out by the Raiders.
Well, the Raiders went with the play action on 3rd and short. You're going to see Rivera right here. He's going to try and sneak out, but the Rams do a good job of bumping him up at the line of scrimmage. Nobody comes open. You see the Rams played it very well. Were not fooled by the play action. Good, solid defensive football by the Rams in the 3rd and short.
So Marquette King on to punt it away, and Tavon Austin waiting for it at the 24. Low snap, King, low kick, line drive. Austin lets it bounce. Fields and on a hop, deflected, ball is loose. That's a live ball. They're still kicking it around. And we'll wait for the signal, and they've indicated it's St. Louis football. Rams have been so good on special teams. A rare mistake there by Austin. You can see him saying, that's my fault. He touched it, it was live, but the Rams fall on it. They'll have it 1st and 10. A beautiful mild day in St. Louis, temperature in the low 60s as the Rams have a 7-0 lead with 10:32 to go in the first quarter. Rams have been outstanding in the first quarter this year, outscoring opponents 72-32. Hill swings it out to Bailey. And Bailey all the way up close to the 30-yard line. Rams are moving the ball here nicely in the opening quarter. With NFL Now, you can get access to the largest NFL video library on the planet. Select your favorite teams or players, and NFL Now delivers non-stop videos on all your favorite devices. Get NFL Now for free at NFL.com/now.
So far, we've had 5 passes from the Rams, no runs yet.
And there's another pass to Kenny Britt, and it's another St. Louis first down. Dragging the pile all the way up to the 44-yard line. Well, Kenny Britt has really found a home in here in St. Louis, and it was Jeff Fisher had said he just needed a fresh start, and he's got one here.
He had, and Kenny Britt has always been an incredibly talented wide receiver. I mean, everybody in the NFL knew it. He's got the size. He's 6'3", over 220 pounds. He just had some things he had to get cleared up off the football field, get his mind right, and I think he's in a position now where he can have some good years for this Rams team.
Shaun Hill, 6 out of 6 for 75 yards. He goes back to the air, and his first incompletion of the day also leads us to our first NFL update with JB and Boomer.
A quick Baltimore start. Well, we go from University of Maryland quarterback Shaun Hill to University of Maryland wide receiver Torrey Smith. Right there, 16 yards, a catch from Joe Flacco. Ravens up 10-0 on the Chargers early in the first quarter.
Andrew Catalon and the quarterback, Steve Burlai.
Guys, thank you. And of course, Jeff Fisher's team almost beat San Diego last week. Close game out west, but the Chargers pulled it out. And crazy AFC North, the Ravens just trying to keep pace. 3rd and 10. Second down, check it. And Bailey now has a first down.
Oh, this is a really nice throw from Shaun Hill. He did a great job standing strong in the pocket. You're going to see pressure in his face right there, but he stood strong. He knew exactly where he was going with that football. Stedman Bailey coming down with the catch. But really give credit to Shaun Hill right there. He had Justin Tuck coming in his face.
We spoke with Shaun Hill yesterday. Said how he bounced back after such a critical interception. He said, you know what? Tuesday morning I had to be ready to lead this team. I have to stay even keeled. And he said he had a good attitude this week, good week of practice, and ready to try to lead the Rams to their 3rd straight win at home. Keeping it in the air. Over the middle, floats one for Bailey, who makes the catch at the 10, and Bailey tackled at the 6. What a grab by Bailey for 34 yards.
Well, this is a floater, you're right, and Shaun Hill is lucky that Terrell Brown fell down. Watch Terrell Brown right here. He goes back. He's got a chance to make the break on this ball, but he slips, falls down right there, and he just misjudged it. I don't know whether he lost his footing, but he's the one that could have fallen off and made that play. Stedman Bailey, very fortunate that he didn't get hit as that ball was getting to him.
Bailey with 3 catches for 58 yards, and the Rams now have it 1st and goal. And now we have a stoppage and a timeout called for by St. Louis. Rams have still not run the football. All 9 plays have been passes. Should take a look at the red zone numbers this year. The Oakland defense tied for 21st in the league, and St. Louis's offense at number 9. What a start for Shaun Hill. 8 out of 9 for 125 yards and a touchdown. See Tony Sperano. Got the game ball last week in the locker room from Donald Penn. Sperano said that had special meaning after finally leading the Raiders to their 1st win of the year. So Brian Schottenheimer has kept the Rams through the air this entire 1st quarter. See what they do here on 1st and goal. They pitch it, and it's Mason looking for touchdown number 2, and he's tackled at the 2.
You know, I really like this kid, Mason, out of Auburn. He is a little guy. He's only 5 foot. I don't even think he's 5'8", but he runs like a big man. You look at the tape of him last week against the Chargers. Anytime he gets that football, he's running to punish people on the other side. He does not let up at all. He finishes off every one of those runs. Another great example right there. Good push by the left side of that Rams offensive line.
2nd and goal. Once again, Mason at running back. Hill keeps it himself. Does he have the speed to get there? He does! Touchdown, Shaun Hill! His 4th career rushing touchdown, 1st this season. And the Rams up 13-0.
Well, this is a great play call. I guarantee you that nobody on the Raiders sideline was worried about Shaun Hill running the football. He is not known as a rusher. I think probably the other 3 touchdowns he's had have been on quarterback sneaks most likely. Great job of setting things up though and getting him to the edge. Nice play for the 13-year vet.
His first rushing touchdown since 2008 when he was with San Francisco. He's got Berline speed there, doesn't he?
That's a very, very good analogy, I think.
Zuerlein with the extra point. And it was all set up by the long pass from Hill to Bailey. The Rams are clicking on all cylinders here in the first quarter. Hill caps off the drive, and St. Louis leads it 14-0. Thursday Night Football returns this week. Tony Romo and the Cowboys take on the Bears as two of the NFL's greatest franchises meet in primetime. Thursday Night Football returns Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. Both those teams coming off Thanksgiving Day losses. As you see the scoring summary for the Rams, 7 plays, 78 yards, and Stedman Bailey with 3 catches for 58 yards already today. Right now, Sean Hill is the Rams. Well, he's got 1 carry. He's got as many carries as Trey Mason. Only 2 runs so far as Atkinson loses that one. Tompkins falls on it and falls forward, but a sloppy start here for the Oakland Raiders. 7:07 to go, first quarter. Oakland going back on offense. Back at the Edward Jones Dome, 7:07 to go, first quarter. Rams already up 14-0. Play action for Carr on first down. Fires left. It's caught by his tight end Rivera and knocked out of bounds. How about the Rams? Their last 8 games, as you see it here, they have played teams that all have at least 7 or more wins.
And you can actually go back before the bye. The bye was before the Philadelphia. They played Dallas in week 3, which is another, 7+ win team. So what a gauntlet. And the Raiders now coming in 1-10. They're jumping on quick.
Maurice Jones-Drew on the carry. He gets to the 25 and not much more than that. It's been a very quiet year for Maurice Jones-Drew, averaging just 1.9 yards per carry, his lowest of his career.
There's no doubt Maurice Jones-Drew, his confidence is down. He is incredibly frustrated with what has transpired since coming home to the Bay Area. He was so excited to make that move, and it just hasn't worked out for him for a variety of different reasons.
Raiders 0 for 2 on third downs, trying to avoid a third straight 3-and-out. Three on the play clock. Carr out of the gun. Looking right. Fires right. Broken up. Good defensive play by the rookie E.J. Gaines. And for the third straight time, it's 3-and-out for Oakland.
Get a look at Chris Long here. See how he's coming up the field, trying to get around the corner. And then a great defensive play on the outside. James Jones was not open. It was great coverage on the play by E.J. Gaines.
Raiders have run 9 plays. They have 16 total yards. And already the third punt of this opening quarter for Marquette King. Tavon Austin, who lost the handle on the previous punt, awaiting at the 25-yard line. Good pressure up front, nearly blocked. Austin from the 30. Going backwards. But Austin's still going. Austin at the 40 and forced out of bounds by Marcel Reese. With 5:34 to go in the first quarter, you're watching the NFL on CBS. NFL athletes grew up playing in communities all across America. Now, through NFL Play 60, they're encouraging kids in neighborhoods everywhere to come out to play for 60 minutes a day. To learn how NFL stars played as kids and to find great play ideas, visit NFLrush.com/play60. First and 10 for the Rams. Once again, good field position from their own 39. Nearly jumped, and now there is a flag.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's on the center, Scott Wells. We do want to mention that we're missing a Steve today. Our normal partner, Steve Tasker, is up in Vancouver as his son Luke is playing in the Grey Cup of the Canadian Football League. Hamilton takes on Calgary, so we wish the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Tasker family all the best today. Hill to Bailey. Slips a tackle and into Raiders territory, out of bounds at the 39. And what a big quarter for Stedman Bailey. Adds another 26 to his total.
Well, the Raiders have got to find a way to get up and challenge these quick passes. You see Charles Woodson just getting up there a little bit too late on that play. The Rams have only thrown one ball really up the field. That was the big one to Stedman Bailey on the last drive. It's all been the quick stuff. I think they're trying to just capitalize and make a statement to the Raiders. If you're going to give us the quick throw, we're going to take it all day long.
Bailey with 4 catches for 79 yards. His career high is 89 yards. He did that last week in more motion and another false start.
False start. Offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The right guard, Davin Joseph.
Yeah, Sean Hill was going to change the play. He backed out to change the play, and Davin Joseph right here, you're going to see him just right there, that little flinch. That's what caused, he wasn't sure that Sean Hill wasn't going to stick with the play.
So that makes it 1st and 15 inside 5 minutes to go first quarter. Rams already with 158 yards of offense. Mason trying to get to the outside. Trey Mason at the 40 and forced out of bounds by DJ Hayden. What a start for Sean Hill. 9 out of 10 for 151 yards.
Well, you know, the game plan was to come out and attack the Raiders through the air. That was a good one right there, standing in the pocket, making the throw into pretty good coverage on the outside. And a great catch by Stedman Bailey, and finishing it off with those great wheels of his, getting to the edge. But it's been a real strong start for Sean Hill. It's exactly what Jeff Fisher and company would prefer to see out of him every week.
Hill looking for Cook, and he juggles it incomplete. Steve, are you surprised by this attack from the Rams? They've now run 11 of 14 plays through the air. And look at the Raiders' pass defense. It's 12th in the NFL.
Well, you know, I am surprised, but there's obviously matchups that Brian Schottenheimer, Jeff Fisher wanted to take advantage of. Right there, Jared Cook should have made that play. He did not look back quickly enough, as you see Brian Schottenheimer right there. From experience, there are games where you know you're going to come out and attack through the air in that first 15 plays just to do it because you think the matchups are great.
First third down today for the Rams. 3rd and 8. Hill as a man, caught by Bailey again. He's got the first down. Stedman Bailey having a day, and we're still in the first quarter. He's now at 100 yards receiving, a new career high.
Well, he is having a heck of a day. He had a big day last week, too. 7 catches for 89 yards, but the Raiders are not helping their own cause. Charles Woodson right there had a chance to make the one-on-one tackle. It's been a lot of poor tackling to this point by the Raiders defense across the board. Stedman Bailey with 84 yards.
Well, now you add the 16, and he's got 5 catches for 100 yards. A new career high for Stedman Bailey. And once again, the Rams are on the move, but they have to call timeout. 3:18 to go, first quarter. Rams have just 1 timeout remaining in this first half. And what a half it's been for Sean Hill. 10 out of 12, 167 yards, a TD pass, and a TD run.
And the Raiders have to help their defense, too. 3 and out all 3 drives.
Mason up the middle. Led at the 20 and gets to the 19. Jeff Fisher told us that he thinks Trey Mason is going to be special. One of the traits he likes the most was his lateral quickness. That's what he told us when we met with him yesterday.
Yeah, he said it reminded him of Barry Sanders. That's pretty good competition, or a pretty good comparison, I guess would be the right way to put it. But I really have liked this guy for a long time. And now he knows the protections well enough he can fit him into the offense without really sacrificing anything.
They hand it off, and it's Austin at the 10. Austin cuts back, touchdown! The Rams are rolling. It's 20-0.
You know, we saw this play several times last week against the Chargers, and I can't quite understand. It happened so quickly. Watch Justin Tuck right here in the end. He's not even blocked. and the play goes right up, right past him. Tavon Austin is so quick getting that ball and getting past that defensive end that they have that much confidence that guy will not make the play. They just kind of bluff him. The defensive end doesn't know what's going on, and Austin is past him every time.
Touchdowns in back-to-back games for Tavon Austin, both on the ground. Jeff Fisher said he loves that speed sweep. And Austin finds the end zone to make it 21-0.
Yeah, they've had great success with this play, and I figured the Raiders would have an adjustment made to that this week, but obviously not. The great job of scheming by Brian Schottenheimer, and Justin Tuck had no idea. And if you hesitate on a quick guy like that, it's too late. He's by you, and you get him in the open field, it's hard to bring him down. You can see again right there, it was Jared Cook, the tight end, number 89, who just kind of bluffed Justin Tuck just to get him to hesitate for a second, and that's all Austin needed to get around the edge.
This ties the Rams' largest lead of the season, 21-0 on the Raiders. Tavon Austin with lightning quick speed. And now his second touchdown of the year.
Well, this is the hardest position to be in as a young quarterback. You're on the road against a team that's on fire. They've scored touchdowns in all 3 of their drives. Your offense has struggled. We're going to see what Derek Carr is made of right now. There's still a lot of football left, and what his focus has got to be, and he's got to get his teammates to buy into it, is, hey, let's take care of business. Put a drive together, get on the board, and that'll kind of stop this momentum for the Rams. We can get back in this ball game.
Atkinson back deep for the Raiders. Zerline with that big leg. Back of the end zone. Atkinson is going to take it out. At the 10 and tripped up at the 14-yard line. Wednesday on CBS, it's 2 hours of Survivor with 4 crucial challenges and 2 tribal councils. It's anybody's game, a special 2-hour edition of Survivor, Wednesday, 8/7 Central, only CBS. Rough start for the Raiders. 3 drives, 3 3-and-outs. They've run 9 plays, and they only have 16 yards of offense. Stopped a 16-game losing streak last week in the win over Kansas City, but in a big hole here in St. Louis. Carr batted down by Ogletree. The second-year man out of Georgia got a hand on that one.
Well, you mentioned it in the open, Andrew, about the sacks this team has had in the past several weeks. They are getting after the quarterback as well as anybody. You see Ogletree right there. He was looking right in Derek Carr's eyes. Maurice Jones-Drew has got to be a little bit more aggressive getting up into Alec Ogletree to keep him from getting up in the air to bat that pass down. But it was, again, pressure from the Rams.
12th time this year one of Carr's passes has been hit at the line, 4th most in the NFL. Back to the air, it's Reese. And Reese up to the 23-yard line, stopped just short of a first down. It'll be 3rd and short for the Raiders.
Well, we've been giving Derek Carr high praise, and I think he's legitimately worthy of it all. He's got a long way to go as a quarterback. But one thing they need to focus on is giving him some more weapons on the outside. His yards per attempt is the worst in the NFL, only 5.5 yards per attempt. That's not good enough at this level.
They're out of the shotgun on 3rd and 1.
And the Rams will be coming with pressure again.
Carr throwing left, caught by James Jones, immediately tackled by Jenkins. We'll have to see where they spot this one. It's going to be very close, and now Gene Steratore indicates it is a first down. First time today the Raiders have moved the chains.
Well, I thought that official on that sideline was going to have a hard time making the call. He did get the correct spot. I thought that James Jones did get that ball across the plane of the yard to gain. So good job spotting by the official on the outside.
Jones now has 23 catches on 3rd downs this year, 4th most in the NFL. These Carr's go-to guys, McFadden on first down up the middle. up to the 28-yard line. But again, tough sledding for the Raiders offensively trying to run the football. They averaged just 73 yards per game. That's last in the NFL.
Yeah, they had 179 last week and 2 touchdowns rushing against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a Kansas City Chiefs team that had not allowed a touchdown all year rushing, and it also doubled the Raiders' touchdown total for the season anyway. But they've got it. That was a good 4-yard run by McFadden right there.
And those touchdowns last week by Murray, who's not playing today for Oakland. It's McFadden again across the 30 and up to the 32-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short in what could be the final play of the first quarter. What a rough quarter it's been. Tony Sparano and the Raiders.
But if the Raiders can run the ball like they have on these 2 plays, 2 good, solid, physical 4-yard runs by McFadden, they will find a way to get this offense jump-started.
It will be 3rd and 2 to start the second quarter. We're through 1. The Rams all over the Raiders, 21-0. We'll return to St. Louis after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The quick start Rams now plus 54 in the first quarter this year, second most in the NFL behind Green Bay. It's been a different story in the second half for the Rams as they're a minus 94-point differential. 3rd and 2 to start this quarter for Oakland. Carr fires, incomplete. Getting a hand on that one was Trumaine Johnson, but there is a flag that comes in, and it's going against St. Louis.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 22, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So they get Johnson, and that's an automatic first for Oakland.
Well, the Rams have been very aggressive in their coverage of the Raiders on the outside, and I think the Raiders are making a mistake trying to throw these one-on-one routes on the outside against the man coverage of the Rams. They've got to find a way to get the ball to these guys on the move, because one-on-one they're not good enough to beat a good, aggressive, physical quarterback right now.
Carr dumps it down to Jones-Drew at the 45 and tackled at the 46-yard line, a gain of 9.
That's a good confidence builder right there from Maurice Jones-Drew, and a good job by Derek Carr of not forcing the ball up the field. The Rams played an umbrella cover 2 coverage where all the routes up the field were taken away, take the check down, make a nice positive game.
Alert, alert! Sunday!
On 2nd and 1, again, Jones-Drew as the first down, stays on his feet into Rams territory and finally knocked down at the 41 after a gain of 13. That's the longest run this season by Maurice Jones-Drew.
And he needed that. And I think a lot of the problem this year with the Raiders and with Maurice Jones-Drew, right there you see that should have been stuffed at the line of scrimmage. That was a good opportunity for Jolon Dunbar to make a tackle, but Maurice Jones-Drew looked like the old MJD right there, and you got to have him running between the tackles. If you try to get him bouncing the ball outside, that's not going to work for him.
1st and 10 for the Raiders.
What's up?
Carr again to Jones-Drew, and a good tackle made right there at the 40. Jolon Dunbar was able to trip up Jones-Drew. Darren McFadden now comes in for Jones-Drew, who got 3 straight touches. Again, Marcel Reese should carry the football some as well today. He had 8 carries in the win over Kansas City. 7 of his 8 carries came on that game-winning drive by the Raiders.
And he ran it hard on that drive.
Shark, 180! What's up?
McFadden on 2nd and 8. He's got some room up the middle. Knocking over defenders, and McFadden tackled a yard shy of a first down.
You know, you mentioned that Latavius Murray was responsible for a lot of the big yards last week, but he went for 112. They ran for 180, and McFadden, when he came in, and Marcel Reese, they ran hard too after that.
On 3rd down, McFadden hitting the backfield, but gets up close to the stick. I'm going to mark that one right near the first down line. Initial indication, though, is it's 4th down.
Yeah, he got tripped up right there. That was a Got hit right from the outside from the beginning by Aaron Donald. I think threw off McFadden's timing. Not much to go here, though. It's less than a half a yard to gain for the first down.
And the Raiders are going to go for it. They are very good this year. In fact, #1 in the NFL, 9 out of 11 on 4th downs this year.
Actually, it looks like a full yard, Andrew.
And there's movement and a flag.
False start. Offense, number 45. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
That's a killer penalty. And now what does Tony Sparano do? 4th and 1 turns into 4th and 6. And he's taken Carr and the offense off the field.
Well, down 21-0. I think Tony Sparano could have made a case for going for it in that situation, even though it was 4th and 6. You're at the 37-yard line. I say, why not take a shot there?
Instead, it's Marquette King who comes out for his 4th punt today. Trying to pin the Rams deep. Austin lets it go, and it's down at the 5-yard line by Chekwa. Good coverage by the Raiders special teams, but they trail 21-0. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns so far for the St. Louis Rams. They lead at 21-0 with Steve Berline. I'm Andrew Catalon. We thank you for joining us here. Week 13 of the NFL on CBS. Rams backed up deep to start this drive. Movement on the line again. Pat Sims came across. Was he provoked? Does not appear that way. This looks to be going against the Raiders.
Encroachment. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Tomorrow on CBS, it's a Mike and Molly marathon. Catch 4 hilarious back-to-back episodes starting at 8/7 Central. Only CBS.
This Raiders team right now is absolutely shooting themselves in the foot. They had a 4th and short, and they jumped off sides offensively. They got the Rams backed up at the 5-yard line. They give them 5 free yards jumping off sides again. It's just discipline.
Certainly a sleepy start for the Raiders. They arrived in town yesterday afternoon. They give it to Mason here. He's got a lot of room. Trey Mason off to the races across the 50. One man to beat. Mason to the house. 89 yards. There are 2 flags in the end zone, but let's take a look at this run.
Well, nothing special, just a designed cutback run, and he's so small and quick getting back in going the other direction. He broke through that second level of the Raiders defense. Once he got in the open field, nobody is going to catch Trey Mason from behind. Very well executed play up front by the Rams. The Raiders are, as you said, Andrew, they're just playing very,
After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 27. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
So Mason gets hit with a 15-yard penalty. Touchdown stands. Longest rush of his career. In fact, the 2nd longest in franchise history.
But this is unacceptable from the Raiders. They came off that big win last week against Kansas City. We expected them to come out and really be ready to play in this big ball game, and not the case at this point.
Great block on that run also by the 3rd-year tight end at UCLA, Corey Harkey, as Zerline adds the extra point. It's 28-0 in favor of the Rams. Mason takes it 89 yards. Sean Hill pointing him in the right direction.
Jason!
Oh, they have some great barbecue in St. Louis, and right now the Rams are cooking up the Raiders. It's 28-0. And Trey Mason, now with his 2nd touchdown of the day, he's over 100 yards rushing, 4 carries, 105 yards. Not just the 5th in NFL history to have rushed for over 100 yards on 4 carries or less. Latavius Murray did it last week for the Raiders, who are just in a whole big lot of trouble here in St. Louis. 28-0 as this kick goes into the end zone and a touchback. Well, let's go back and look at that touchdown, Mr. Berline.
Well, this play really should not have been much of a game. Watch C.O. Moore right here and Burris. C.O. Moore steps this way, Burris steps this way. I don't know what C.O. Moore was thinking, but if they would have been going with their keys, you can see there's nobody blocking either one of them. Right there, they both should have good chance to make the tackle on Trey Mason. It did not happen. Poor discipline and gap control by the Raiders defense.
There it is. Back-to-back weeks. Last week, Latavius Murray, now Mason, over 100 yards rushing on 4 carries or less.
180!
First and 10 for Oakland. Carr, pump fakes, chase from behind, and keep it himself and run out of bounds for a 1-yard gain.
Well, there hasn't been much to choose from for Derek Carr up the field today. The protection was not bad. He just did not have anybody open up the field, try to buy a little extra time, and ended up making a positive 1 yard out of the play. Very concerned Tony Sperano looking on.
Hey! 55! 55! 180! What's up?
And again, movement on the line and a false start against the Raiders. 4th penalty today against Oakland.
False start. Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's on Michael Rivera, the tight end, and Tony Sperano, all he can do is shake his head.
The crazy thing right here on the end, you're going to see it. There's not even that much noise in this building right now. I've heard this facility get extremely loud. Right now, the noise is not that big of a factor. There's no excuse for these things to be happening.
Carr gets rid of it quickly, incomplete. Off the hands of Kenbrell Tompkins, and it's 3rd down and 14.
Well, when it rains, it pours. Tompkins should have made this catch. It had a little zip from Derek Carr, but it's right on the money. There's no excuse for not making that play. He had blockers out in front of him. That was going to be a positive play. Instead, the Raiders are now looking at 3rd and 13.
Rams have more touchdowns than the Raiders have first downs. 3rd and 14. Carr has time, connects with Jones at the 20. Jones at the 25 and dragged down, lunges forward, and a flag comes flying in. Jones tackled a yard short of a first down. Let's see what the flag is.
Some Rams pointing against the Raiders, but there was only one Raider player in the area that I saw, and that was James Jones. He had the ball.
Gene Steratore huddling up with Jeff Fisher, who's a member of the NFL's competition committee.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 85. 10-yard penalty. Penalizing the end of the run. Replay 3rd down.
So it's on Tompkins, and Fisher accepts the penalty. So that'll back up the Raiders.
Well, now Jeff Fisher was very excited on the sideline. He's got something up his sleeve. We know, anybody that knows the NFL knows that Jeff Fisher, special teams wise, especially on punt and punt return, always has something up his sleeve.
So it's 3rd and 11, but it appeared that Fisher, if he accepted the penalty, or declined it rather, it would have been 4th and 1.
It would have been 4th and 1. He took the penalty. He wanted to back the Raiders up more. I got confused myself there a little bit.
So it's 3rd and 11. Carr in trouble. Carr trying to get away, just floats it up, intercepted. Picked off by the Rams. It's E.J. Gaines back on his feet. Gaines still going and slammed down at the 22-yard line. Well, maybe that's why Jeff Fisher accepted the penalty. What a disaster this half has been for the Oakland Raiders. The 2nd interception of the season for the rookie Gaines. And there's an injured member of the Rams still down in the field as you see the interception again. Carr should have just ate that one.
He should have ate that one, no doubt about it. It's Menelik, Watson.
So Watson's still on the ground. We'll come back to St. Louis in a moment. 10th interception of the season for Derek Carr, and now the Raiders are minus 14 in turnover margin this year. That's worst in the NFL as Watson hobbled off the field. And they attend to him on the Raiders sideline. Meanwhile, the Rams have great field position after the interception, 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line of Oakland, trying to add to their lead. They pitch it to Mason running left. A lot of room over there. It's around the 20, still going inside the 15-yard line. DJ Hayden made the tackle as we go back to the interception, and a bad decision here by the rookie.
Yeah, it was a poor decision by Derek Carr. Under pressure, backed up, 3rd and long. You're really worried with a young quarterback that he's not going to make a sound decision right there. That was a really poor decision by Derek Carr. Ball got away from him, and the Raiders are paying the price now.
DJ Hayden hobbles off the field for Oakland.
Well, Trey, we talked about it earlier. He hit his own guy right there on the outside. That was pressure on the outside from Brown. But, man, Trey Mason's fun to watch when he gets going forward with that football. He's hard to get down.
Zach Stacy with the carry. He gets across the 10 to the 9-yard line. Stacy's carries have been limited of late. That's his first carry since October 26th against the Chiefs. Jeff Fisher told us yesterday he wants to get Stacy more involved. He's got the fresh legs. But Mason's been running the ball so well that a lot of the carries have been going to Mason and Benny Cunningham.
Well, Fisher feels great about all 3 of his running backs, but Trey Mason potentially is a very, very special player.
2nd down and 6. Hill fires, incomplete. He's looking for his tight end, Lance Kendricks, and that'll bring up 3rd down. So far, it's been a heavy dose of passing for Brian Schottenheimer and the Rams offense. And Shaun Hill's 10 out of 13 for 167 yards and a touchdown through the air.
Yeah, only 8 rush attempts for the Rams at this point, but 5 of them by Mason for over 100 yards. So whatever they're doing right now is working pretty well.
Benny Cunningham in at running back for this 3rd and 6. Hill fires end zone for Britt, incomplete. Britt had no idea it was coming, and now a flag comes in.
Well, this was a late flag, and this ball was thrown out of the end zone. I don't. We got to see what exactly the call is, but
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 25. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. 1st down.
Now they get DJ Hayden on that, and it's an automatic 1st down, so it's 1st and goal for the Rams.
well, the Raiders drew up the perfect pressure. They had guys coming free in Shaun Hill's face. Everything worked out perfectly. Shaun Hill was just trying to get rid of that football, and another costly mistake by DJ Hayden.
6 penalties against the Raiders in the 1st half. Zach Stacy, the running back, on 1st and goal. Britt comes in motion. Play action. Hill. And it's caught for a touchdown. Corey Harkey. First touchdown of the season. The 3rd of his career. And the Rams are pouring it on. It's 34-0.
Now, just you see Harkey just bluffing Justin Tuck right there. Shaun Hill does a nice job under pressure from Tuck to deliver this ball on the money, and Harkey knows how to finish it off.
Well, Harkey's a big guy, 6'4", 259 out of UCLA, the son of New York Yankees bullpen coach Mike Harkey. And he finds the end zone here for Jeff Fisher and the Rams. Zuerlein on to attempt the extra point. They're just taking one last look at this to make sure that Harkey got in. All scoring plays subject to review.
Yeah, the only question, let's see where if that knee hit first, which I don't think it did.
While they look, we'll step aside. We're back to St. Louis in a moment.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So Corey Harkey with his third career touchdown, third-year man at UCLA. And Zuerlein will now try to knock through the extra point to make it 35-0. Jeff Fisher in his third season with St. Louis. Such a tough division, the NFC West. Already had impressive wins this year over Seattle, San Francisco, and Denver. There's a lot of optimism here in St. Louis about the Rams, specifically the defense.
Well, this is a good young football team on both sides of the ball. Andrew, the record is very deceiving. I guarantee you, anybody that's got the Rams on the schedule, they will respect them as a very good football team.
Points off turnovers. It started with the Gaines INT, and it led to Harkey finding the end zone. 35-0 St. Louis. 35 first half points today by the Rams, tied for the most of any half by the Rams since 1991. They also scored 35 in the first half against the Colts back in 2001. Shaun Hill, 11 out of 14, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, and the 1 rush touchdown for Shaun Hill. And the Raiders still have just 79 yards of offense. You see Sam Bradford, who went down again this preseason for the St. Louis Rams with a torn ACL, out for the entire year. But I know you're very high on Sam Bradford, and Jeff Fisher is too, he told us yesterday.
Yeah, he told us that the 2 reasons he came here to the Rams a few years back was because of the owner and the quarterback. And he truly believes that Sam Bradford's going to come back from this, and he's excited to see him in control of this offense next year.
And a touchback.
Here we go. What a throw! Touchdown! How did he do it? Rodgers going up top. Oh, what a throw! Can you believe it?
It is unbelievable.
What a game coming up next. Tom Brady and the Patriots against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers at Lambeau Field. First time these two have ever met as starters. What a game. A potential Super Bowl preview at Lambeau later today on CBS.
That's going to be spectacular. I cannot wait to tune into that one.
Raiders from the 20. First down and 10. They start this on the ground with Reese. Runs into the line and maybe gets a yard. Dragged down by Ogletree. Well, if you're the Raiders here, Steve Beuerlein, what are the things you do to just try to get some momentum going at the end of this first half?
Well, yeah, it's a gut check, and you just got to, you're going to really see what guys are made of. Tony Sparano is going to find out a lot about his team and how they handle the rest of this first half and come out to the second half. All they can do is give it everything they got to try and get this game back to being respectable at some point.
Carr, and it's incomplete, looking for Vincent Brown. Well, Sparano said that after they got that win against the Chiefs, that his team, quote, got a taste of something good and they want more of it. All indications were that they had a good week of practice and were excited to try to win back-to-back games for the first time in 2 years, but it's been anything but a good first half here for the Raiders as they are now faced with 3rd down and 8, just 1 out of 6 on 3rd downs today. Carr, pump fake, now throws, intercepted again! Jermaine Johnson back on his feet at the 20 and ripped down at the 14 by Vincent Brown. Second pick today by Derek Carr. And the second interception this season by Johnson, the 3rd-year man out of Montana.
Well, Derek Carr is fuming. There was a miscommunication between Vincent Brown and Derek Carr. You see there was a collision, and that's what the problem was. Derek Carr thought Vincent Brown was going to come across the coverage, but instead he ran right into E.J. Gaines and never got there to get a hand on the ball, at least to make a play on the ball. Now, Derek Carr, he's saying, what do you want me to do? You know, I got to throw that ball on time, but at the same time, when you're a quarterback, you learn that when you're backed up, if it's not clean, you can't just throw that ball in there carelessly.
Great field position for the Rams once again, and once again there's movement on the
Ball
line.
start. Offense number
And
79.
that is going on Greg
5-yard
Robinson, the
penalty.
rookie out of Auburn.
First down.
Well, here's Brown right here. He's just running the slant route, but he's going to run right into, right there, you're going to see him run right into Gaines. And Derek Carr threw that ball, you know, believing that he was going to come across. Now, in Carr's defense, Brown needs to try and find a way to avoid that kind of contact. It wasn't like he surprised him. You could see him the whole time. So that's, I think, you got to give a little bit of credit to both of them for a bad play.
Hill fires to Mason, runs right into Terrell Brown as the Rams continue to move the football. By the way, there is one less official out there. We showed you earlier that one of the field judges went down. That was Bob Wagner. And so they're working a man short right now here in St. Louis. Hopefully Wagner is okay, but he has not returned to the field. Seven minutes to go first half.
Hey, Drew, drop!
Pitch it to Mason. And coming up to make that tackle is DJ Hayden. First round pick out of Houston a year ago. DJ Hayden will get a good look at the cornerback position the rest of the way with Carlos Rogers going on IR earlier this week. When you talk about Carr, and we sat with him yesterday, and we sat with Tony Sperano as well, and he said the thing he likes about Carr is that even when he makes a mistake, he comes off the field and he has an explanation as to why he made a mistake. But it looked by body language that Carr was still a little confused as to what happened there.
Well, I mean, he's basically looking at Brown saying, I don't care that the guy was in your lane. You've got to find a way to, I'm counting on you to avoid him somehow.
Third down and 9. Hill in trouble and sacked by Justin Tuck. His third sack of the season. 10-year vet out of Notre Dame.
Well, we had a nice conversation with Justin Tuck. You're going to see right there, just the old slip move. Did a great job of scooting right by and making the hit on Sean Hill. That was Davin Joseph that he beat off the line. Just a nice little swim technique, nothing fancy.
Of course, Tuck saved the Raiders last week by calling that timeout late in the game against Kansas City. A 38-yard attempt for Zerline. 16 out of 20 on the year, and this one is good. So the interception by Carr leads to 3 more for the Rams. It's a 38-0 game with 5:27 to go in the second quarter. And what a half it has been for the Rams, scoring early and often.
Now they're pretty much doing whatever they want, both sides of the ball. Right there was the early screen pass set up by a couple of quick screens to Tavon Austin, and then Sean Hill did a little bit on his own, showing that he's not the only one that can sniff out the end zone. Tavon Austin coming back across on that jet sweep that Jeff Fisher loves so much, but then it was the big one from Trey Mason. 89 yards for the score. No one's going to run him down. It's been one of those days for the Raiders. I mean, whatever the Rams are doing is coming up roses. The 2 turnovers late here in this half, and that's all been contributing to what we see above as a complete blowout at this point.
Total yards, St. Louis 307, Oakland 81. 5 touchdowns for the Rams today, and they lead at 38-0. And now a bad sign here for Oakland as Menelik Watson, who we showed you earlier suffering an injury, gingerly walks into the tunnel for the Raiders. Keep an eye on that. We'd expect Lee Barnes to go back to right tackle and Gabe Jackson to come in at left guard. Ball falls off the tee in a dome. Don't see that very often. Atkinson back deep for the Raiders. And this is returnable, but he bobbles it again. Second time today. Picks it up in big trouble and thrown down at the 3. A rough debut for George Atkinson III on special teams for the Raiders.
Yeah, and this is not a team, the St. Louis Rams, that you can afford to make any mistake in special teams. They will pounce on every opportunity they can to make a play. George Atkinson, in his first NFL game, just called up this week from the practice squad. That bobble right there, boy, just more misery for the Raiders now starting back at their own 4-yard line.
Talking with Bobby April, the special teams coach for the Raiders. And now Oakland will start this drive at the 4-yard line. Jones-Drew next to Carr. Out of his own end zone in the gun. He gives it to Jones-Drew. Puts it back to the right and tripped up at the 6-yard line. Well, the Rams in the highly competitive NFC West. Every team except St. Louis with at least 7 wins, but they do have wins this year over Seattle and San Francisco. And we both thought it was fascinating when Fisher made that comment to us yesterday that we're building a team to compete in this division. It's different than just building a winner. He knows he's going to have to play these teams twice a year. It takes a fast physical presence on both sides of the ball to get it done in that division. As Carr sails one incomplete over the middle looking for Reese.
You're right, Andrew. In each division, if you were to talk to coaches from that division, they'd be able to give you a list, a checklist of the things that they think they need to play with or have in order to win their division. And Jeff Fisher, he really believes that they've got all the pieces right now from a youth, speed, aggressiveness standpoint, overall talent to compete with everybody in that NFC West, and I agree with him.
Raiders just 1 out of 7 on 3rd downs today. Carr over the middle to Tompkins, makes the catch, and he has the 1st down. Tompkins tackled at the 24. Rodney McLeod, the 3rd-year safety on the stop, but the Raiders get a little breathing room after the completion to Tompkins for 19.
Well, I said earlier that I'd like to see the Raiders do some more movement-type routes, getting the ball to the receivers on the move. That was a great example right there. If the Raiders just aren't good enough on the outside to line up and beat defensive backs one-on-one on the outside. You got to create ways to get the ball to them on the move.
Another pass, this one complete to Holmes and forced out of the 30. Meanwhile, an injury update for the Raiders. Menelik Watson with an ankle injury, and his return is questionable. Right now it is Barnes in at right tackle and Gabe Jackson in at left guard.
We're seeing some tempo now out of the Raiders, and I think it's a good call. Just give your quarterback some experience trying to move this ball down the field in an up-tempo environment. Try to change up the rhythm and get something positive from it.
Carr to Holmes again, upended at the 35-yard line. That was Gaines making the tackle.
Well, if you are going to run a crossing one, you got to be aware whether it's man or zone coverage. This is zone coverage, and that ball had Derek Carr gotten it in front of him and not forced Holmes to turn around and make that catch, he might have been able to protect himself a little bit better.
Easy. Paint at 0. Paint at 0. 55. Paint at 0. Paint at 0. Hey, I got 55.
Jones-Drew. Thrown down from behind by William Hayes. Hayes is good friends with Chris Long, and now in Long's absence it was Hayes starting. Today it was Long who got the start, but those two together just add another punch to this very impressive front four for St. Louis.
They're deep up front, and that's another one of the qualities you look for, especially in this division. You got to be able to rotate guys in, and the Rams have that depth that you need so desperately.
2nd and 7, pressure coming. Again, it's Hayes. Carr in trouble, just throws it toward the sideline. Out of bounds, incomplete. William Hayes bringing the heat, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, Hayes coming off the right side. Just that's Khalif Barnes that he just kind of whiffs on him. I don't know exactly what the problem was there for Barnes, but Derek Carr had no chance. Did a good job just avoiding the sack and getting rid of the football.
Raiders converted 1 3rd down on this drive. They'll try to do it again. It's 3rd down and 7. Great catch by Rivera for a first down. Ogletree was all over him on the coverage, and Rivera was still able to bring it in.
Well, this is one of those plays that you have to make in the NFL. Rivera, I think, is a good, young, promising tight end. He's become a very active target for Derek Carr right there. You saw linebacker Ogletree covering him one-on-one, and it was just a matter of putting the ball in a place where Rivera could get it. Great job finishing by Rivera.
Second catch today by Rivera. Carr has time over the middle to Vincent Brown. Tackle immediately made by T.J. McDonald, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. St. Louis up big. It's 38-0 here in St. Louis. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. 3 timeouts left for the Raiders. They trail 38-0, first and 10 from the 41. Carr rolling right, trying to direct traffic, throws it incomplete. Trying to get it to Vincent Brown. And it's second down. Good coverage by the Rams.
There was good coverage. Derek Carr could have bought time and just stayed back in the pocket more and allowed himself to work the whole field instead of flushing out of the pocket to the right and only giving himself 2 options. But it was good coverage up the field. There was a little bit of pressure that he had to avoid.
Carr screen. Oh, and a huge hit up in the air, and Jackson caught it off the deflection, but it was Ogletree who leveled Marcel Reese. Let's listen to this hit.
Man, nothing you can say about that. We get the point. That was a big hit.
Jackson actually caught it off the deflection. Third down and 16. Carr to Jones, and not much doing there. Jenkins makes the stop. 4th and long for the Raiders, and they'll have to send out Marquette King once again.
Well, that's a situation where I'd like to see Derek Carr. And again, I am convinced he's going to be a very, very good quarterback in this league. But right there, you want to see your young quarterback in this situation. Take a chance. Try to make a throw. Make something happen up the field. See if you can provide the spark your team is so desperately lacking at this point.
5th punt of the half for King. Either team using a timeout here. Inside 30 seconds to go. King just sails this one into the end zone with 15 seconds remaining here in the first half. Week 13 continues later today on CBS, for some of you on Fox, then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC, and tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Look at the AFC playoff picture, and that AFC North is so wild. All 4 teams appear on that playoff picture: Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland.
Yeah, I really feel like Baltimore is the best team in that division. I think they're going to end up finding a way to get control of that team before it's all said and done.
All St. Louis in this first half. Shaun Hill, 2 touchdown passes, also had 1 touchdown on the ground, and they run off into the locker room ahead 38-0 on the Raiders. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Start of the second half here in St. Louis, and the Rams all over the Raiders, 38-0. Time now to take a look at the Bows game changer. It was Shaun Hill handing it off to Trey Mason. Got a great block from Corey Harkey right there, and Mason goes 89 yards for the touchdown. All St. Louis in that first half. Back in the booth with former Raiders quarterback Steve Berline. I'm Andrew Catalon. Right off the top of our broadcast, we showed you the emerging offensive weapons for the St. Louis Rams. Austin, Mason, and Bailey, and all three stepped up.
They did, and nobody stepped up for the Raiders, but these three guys definitely stepped up for the St. Louis Rams. Tavon Austin, not quite as spectacular, but he did have the jet sweep touchdown run early in the game, but Mason has been absolutely spectacular, and Bailey has made several really big catches, highlight-type real catches. Very productive all the way around offensively for this team. And Sean Hill, they came out throwing the ball early and often. They had success. They stuck with it. And what can you say? 12 of 15, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a very solid first half. His counterpart, you can't say the same thing about the Oakland Raiders. 7 possessions, 5 punts, 2 interceptions. It's been a miserable first half for Derek Carr, but you look at it and you say, what can you take out of it? Well, we're going to see what he's made of the second half. He's still smiling. I don't know how he is still smiling, but he is. This second half, he's got to just come out and try and make something positive happen.
Well, he is a very positive guy. In fact, Justin Tuck said he's never met a more positive man than Derek Carr, but that positivity will be tested here in the second half as the Rams get the ball to start this second half. Sebastian Janikowski to kick it away for the first time today. Back to Benny Cunningham.
Somebody had to wake up Sebastian Janikowski from his nap.
Well, let's take a look at your second half adjustments, Steve Berline.
Well, I think if you're talking about the Raiders, baby steps. You got a young quarterback out there. Every experience is a learning experience. Are you going to win this game? Probably not. But you can come out and try and play well in this second half. Take some positives, learn from it, see what you can come out of it with. For the Rams, obviously you don't want to lose any of your key players in the second half of this game, but you got to finish the game still anyway. This is the NFL. You got to come out in the second half and play hard and try and remain in control.
Trey Mason at running back for the Rams to start this third quarter. He gets the call. He's tackled by Burris for a gain of 2. Trey Mason with 6 carries for 113 yards in that first half against Oakland.
And he's an impressive guy. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Jeff Fisher, they knew they had something special, or they felt they did, but they couldn't play him a lot earlier in the season because of the fact he wasn't confident with the pass protection part of it, and that's where it all starts in the NFL. The running backs have to be able to protect that quarterback.
Hill to Mason at the 25 and knocked out at the 26, and that's a very underrated part of it when you're a rookie, and Fisher told us that Mason had to learn how to play without the football in his hand. Obviously so talented catching it and running it, but it was the pass protection that was a big problem, and he didn't make his NFL debut until week 6. He was inactive the first 4 games, but what a spark he's provided here in the second half.
And you will not find a coach that will put their quarterback at risk if they're not 100% certain that that part of the game is sound and solid and really a comfortable position for that running back. He will not see the field.
Third down and 3. And it's incomplete. He's trying to get it to Trey Watts. Instead, St. Louis will have to punt for the first time today.
I didn't even know if they had a punter active today, but Hecker is out there. Good coverage on that play. No doubt about it. That was a tough throw. The toughest throw, most contested throw that Sean Hill has had today.
Back deep for the Raiders is TJ Carey. He missed 2 of the last 3 games because of an ankle injury. First chance he gets today to return a punt. Carey at the 29 slips, spins away, stays on his feet, runs into his own man. And it's been that kind of day for the Oakland Raiders. Ray Armstrong, the former Ram, ran into his own man, TJ Carey. There's a flag down.
Not the kind of tackle Ray Armstrong wants to be credited with. That was a pop.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 34, 10-yard penalty. First down, Oakland, timeout.
Penalty is on Atkinson. Carey right there, knocked down by Armstrong. Oakland football when we come back. Raiders down 38, largest halftime deficit in team history by the Raiders. Derek Carr out of the gun on 1st and 10. And a quick pass to Marcel Reese, which is caught at the 31-yard line. It's one of the things that a lot of people are high on Carr about, is the fact that he's got such a quick release coming in and only been sacked 12 times the entire year.
And Tony Sperano talked to us about that too. He's got a great feel for when to get rid of that football. He makes quick decisions. He's not always right, but he understands the impact of holding the football, why you don't want to do it.
Watch it!
Pitches this one to McFadden. And he gets close to a first down. It's really quite a stark contrast between Derek Carr and his older brother, David Carr, who was sacked so many times in his rookie year. These are the numbers through their first 11 career starts. David Carr sacked 58 times, Carr just 12 times. And Derek told us yesterday, he said, the biggest advice my brother has told me, and he's given his little brother a lot of advice, but it was just avoid getting hit any way you can. Try to stay on the field, stay healthy. It really hurt David Carr in his career, and Derek's trying to go in a different direction wisely.
180! Watch it!
McFadden, he's dragged down from behind, lost the ball at the end, but he was down. Tackle made by Tremaine Johnson.
But to follow up on your comment, though, and you're exactly right. That David Carr was on a very poor team, much like Derek is right now. They've limited opportunities to be successful, but you have to find a way to minimize those hits. And for whatever reason, David Carr was exposed the way that he was, did not avoid those situations, and that's the best advice he could give a young quarterback as his brother.
Batted up in the air, and Carr knocks it down. Smart play by Carr just to knock that one to the ground, and it's 3rd down.
I can tell you from experience that is not a good feeling when that ball's floating up in the air, and as a quarterback you're like, I got to out jump somebody for this thing. Cannot have another disastrous play in the backfield.
Aaron Donald was the man who got a hand on that one, so it's 3rd and 5. Raiders are 3 for 10 on 3rd downs today. Jones gets away from Jenkins and then forced out of bounds. That's going to be just short of a 1st down. And once again, the Raiders will be forced to punt. So Oakland was not able to get into St. Louis territory on that drive, and the long day continues for Sperano and the Raiders. Well, Marquette King leads the NFL in punts this year. That's usually not a category you want to lead the NFL in. He's going to add to his total here. This is punt number 6.
Now, the Raiders are the only team in the NFL that punted over 50% of the time throughout the course of the season.
Fair catch by Austin at the 15, and that's where the Rams will take over. They still lead it 38-0. Gorgeous late November day in St. Louis. Rams lead 38-0 with Steve Berline. I'm Andrew Catalan, our entire CBS crew, director Andy Goldberg, producer Ryan Galvin. Week 13 of the NFL on CBS. Mason up to the 17-yard line, and you'd expect the Rams to just try to work this clock as much as possible, as this is the one thing they want to avoid. Roger Saffold is down, holding on to his left arm. 5th-year left guard out of Indiana. Actually signed a 5-year, $42 million deal with the Raiders in the offseason, but the Raiders failed him on his physical because of a shoulder injury, and he came back to the Rams.
And he's holding his arm in a way. He's the left guard. He's double teaming with the center right there, and he falls on that left. No telling what it is, but you don't want to lose key players at this point.
Back after this. Back in St. Louis, Mike Person has come in at left guard to replace the injured Roger Safler, who went into the locker room for the Rams. So we'll keep an eye out for that as Hill pitches to Mason, gets away from Mack. Not much doing on that play. Good pursuit by Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack is the guy that's going to have a phenomenal career for the Oakland Raiders. This guy was drafted very, very early this year in the draft. Ended up being everything that the Raiders hoped he'd be at this point, or to this point, and he's still simply just scratching the surface. So he's going to be a big difference maker for years to come.
3rd down and 8 for the Rams. 4 receiver set. Hill, incomplete off the hands of Austin, and the Rams will have to punt again.
Well, that was C.O. Moore coming off the edge, unblocked. It forced Shaun Hill to throw that ball a little bit quicker than he wanted to. Ball still should have been caught on the outside by Tavon Austin. Didn't look like he was expecting it, but it would have been a catch and hit. From our perspective, you could see there was good coverage right there from E.J. Hayden coming over to make the play.
Second straight 3 and out for the Rams. Hecker with his second punt. High spiraling kick. Good kick by Hecker. Carry at the 30 and met immediately and tackled. Once again, the St. Louis special teams is special. This time it was Trey Watts making the tackle. Saturday on CBS, it's a fantastic doubleheader of championship games in college football as the top-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide battle the Missouri Tigers. That's the SEC championship. And then Fresno State takes on Boise State in the Mountain West championship in the nightcap. It's all right here on CBS Sports. What a game yesterday between Alabama and Auburn. Crimson Tide rolling it up in the highest scoring Iron Bowl all time. Now they'll get Missouri. Safler's return is questionable with a shoulder injury. Carr on 1st and 10. In trouble, and Carr goes down. Ogletree and Hayes combining on that sack for the Rams.
Well, this is one of those situations where you try to run a little bit of play action, but there was a chance to make a play up the field, but Derek Carr was feeling pressure. That pocket was collapsing around him. You can see there was pressure up the middle. He had no way to see where his receivers were up the field. Tough situation to be in for the young quarterback.
A loss of 8 on the play. Carr, and that one is complete. And Laurinaitis quickly tackles Michael Rivera.
And we talked about it earlier, Andrew. We haven't seen many balls thrown up the field other than the first play of the game from Derek Carr today. I'd like to see in this second half them attack vertically up the field a little bit more to see if he can make some of the throws a quarterback has to make in this league.
3rd and 12. Carr in trouble again and sacked. And guess who? Chris Long. Welcome back, Mr. Long.
Think he's happy? Boy, we saw him on the sidelines last week in that Chargers game, just chomping at the bit, the energy, the passion that he brings. He is a fantastic player. I had the luxury and the honor of playing with his dad for the LA Raiders back in the day, and Chris was just a little half pint at that time, maybe 5-6 years old. It's phenomenal to see what he's become as a tremendous football player.
His second game of the season, was injured in week 1. Finally came back. Jeff Fisher said he's about 90%. He looked 110% there as Austin muffs the punt, picks it up, running with the football, and runs out at the 34-yard line. Chris Long with a sack in his return. The Rams still rolling on the Raiders. Great Deacon Jones as we're back here in St. Louis. Rams with a 38-0 lead on the Raiders. Shaun Hill, this is his 30th career start. 10-4 at home, 4-11 on the road. Looking to improve that home record here, and he's in good shape as he just throws this one away. Good pressure from C.O. Moore and the Raiders. Tonight on CBS, Simon Baker is back for the final season of The Mentalist. That's tonight after Madam Secretary, only CBS. 7:47 to go, third quarter, and Rams running the ball more now with the big lead, but they came out throwing, and that is what really helped them out to this big lead. Trey Mason, and again it's C.O. Moore making a tackle.
You know what we're seeing, Andrew, at this point, and it quite honestly is too late. But I referenced it a couple times in the first half. The tackling by the Raiders was very, very poor. They had some opportunities to make tackles in the open field. They missed. Those plays ended up becoming not only big plays, they were scoring plays for the Raiders. Now this second half, they really have been doing a better job breaking down and finding a way to make those tackles and create the penetration that they were so desperately lacking in the first half.
Third down and 9 for the Rams. Hill looking deep down the field, incomplete. Bailey the intended target, and it was Terrell Brown on the coverage for the Raiders. So another 3 and out for the Rams here as Hecker comes out for his third punt. Jeff Fisher leads all active coaches with 28 fake punts, but I don't think up 38-0 he'll want to use one of his bullets here. Hecker, high spiraling kick. Carey drifting out of bounds, and it goes out at the 16-yard line. Raiders going back on offense. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 19 combined plays this half, 19 total yards with 7 minutes to go, third quarter. Rams still lead 38-0. Marcel Reese in at running back next to Derek Carr out of the shotgun. And Reese stacked up at the line. Well, Chris Long in his first game since week 1 making an impact here for the Rams.
Well, it takes a while as any position at this level when you come back off injury to get that confidence back, to get the timing back. But he's been pushing and trying to find a way to get to the quarterback. Right there, he finally did the last play of the last drive. But he is not 100% yet, but every rep, he's getting more and more confidence that ankle's going to hold up.
Second down and 11. Carr to Reese, juggles it, makes the catch. But it will be third down for the Raiders. There's Janoris Jenkins, who's been on the sideline for much of this second half. His right knee is wrapped up. Starting corner in his third year out of North Alabama. We'll keep an eye on him. In his place, Tremaine Johnson at corner for the Rams. Matched up with Kenbrell Tompkins on this 3rd and 7. Carr to Jones. He's got the first down. Hit hard by Johnson, but Oakland is able to move the chains.
One of the things we're seeing from the Rams at this point, we're not seeing nearly as much pressure in these passing situations that we did in the first half. The mentality being, Andrew, that they don't want to give up the big play. They don't want to give the Raiders a chance to get a quick score.
Hey. Let's go, hey. Precious, no, let's go Oakland, though. Precious Oakland. Precious Oakland. Precious Oakland.
Reese reverses direction, and he lost the football. Scooped up by the Rams. It's Rodney McLeod on the return for St. Louis, and another turnover by the Oakland Raiders. First fumble this season by Marcel Reese. And the third turnover of the day by Oakland.
And really no excuse for this. He made a fantastic run, cutting it back to the right-hand side. Super job getting a hand in there. Who was that, Andrew? I couldn't see the number. It was a good job of getting in there and getting a piece of that ball. I think it might have been William Hayes.
Yes, 95, William Hayes in good field position for St. Louis now from the 34-yard line. This Rams defense, very good coming in terms of turnovers. 6 turnovers in the last 3 games coming in, so now 9 turnovers in the last 4 games forced by the St. Louis defense. As the Rams going backwards here with Mason. Justin Tuck makes a nice tackle, but That Oakland turnover margin, you just saw it, -16 now on the season.
Yeah, hard to win football games when you're on the minus side. Facts just speak for themselves. You can use the Rams as an example. They've had 3 turnovers 4 times this year. Their record is 0-4. It's just very, very difficult to win. There's no more telling statistic in the NFL than that.
Mason lost 8 on that play with 4.5 to go in the third quarter.
Wait, 20!
Hill dumps it down, and it's dropped. Well, the Rams have kind of taken their foot off the pedal here in the second half with that comfortable 38-0 lead.
And it is natural. When you're up at that point, you go in at halftime, you want to push yourself, you want to still come out with that edge, but it's natural. The intensity just isn't there. And sometimes it takes a quick strike from the other team to wake you up and jolt you back into it. But right now, I think Jeff Fisher content to just keep this thing moving.
St. Louis only has 2 yards this half. Staring at a 3rd and 18 here. Quick pass, batted down at the line. Looked like Justin Tuck got a hand on that one. And Johnny Hekker will have to come out again for the Rams.
Well, Justin Tuck is still, we saw him make the big play in the backfield for an 8-yard loss a couple plays ago. He's a veteran. He knows how to play this game. Doesn't matter whether you're up 38 or down 38. You got to play every play as hard as you can to the best of your ability.
Carey back deep for the Raiders. Fair catch called for at the 6-yard line. So the Raiders will be backed up deep, a 52-yard punt. Well, you can find the perfect gift for the sports fan on your gift list. Beat the crowds and save 10% when you shop CBS Sports. Take advantage of this offer now at cbssports.com/holiday. We had a good chat with Justin Tuck yesterday, and his career at this stage is very similar to Michael Strahan's career when Tuck got to the Giants. Strahan was towards the end of his career trying to help some of the younger guys like a Justin Tuck, and now Tuck is returning that here with Oakland, helping out so many of the young Raiders, especially defensively, guys like Mack and Moore. Bryce Butler, his first catch today, and he slips at the 25. We go back to New York. An update with JB and Boomer.
Drew Brees has that arm warm.
Well, Steve Berline loved the out-and-up pattern, and that's exactly what Kenny Stills does to Ike Taylor, number 24 there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 4 TD passes on the day for Drew Brees. Saints lead the Steelers 28-13 in Pittsburgh.
Andrew and Steve, congratulations to Steve Tasker's son playing in the Grey Cup. Back to Andrew.
JB, thanks, and we're all rooting for Hamilton tonight in the Grey Cup as Steve's son Luke is a member of Hamilton. They take on Calgary later tonight.
I would ask Boomer which quarterback does he know that doesn't?
Number 94 of the defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Which quarterback does he know that's ever played that doesn't like the out and up? That's a pass we all love to throw. We had the offsides called on Robert Quinn right there.
First and 5 following the penalty. Carr to Butler, sideline catch out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Who you got tonight, Hamilton or Calgary in the Grey Cup?
Well, you know what? That is a question. I'm not going to pretend to have any knowledge of either one of those teams. I'm voting for the Hamilton Tiger Cats because, is that right? Is it the Tiger Cats?
Yes, Team Tasker.
Team Tasker. I'm on that team all the way. His son Luke, a tremendous football player, actually very close to making the San Diego Chargers roster this year, but he's had a great year up in Canada.
Carr, quick pass to Reese. Nice move on Gaines. Reese just schooled him and then taken down at the 47-yard line. Reese coming off that fumble on the last drive for the Raiders.
Well, Marcel Reese is just a football player. You can do a lot of different things. He's listed as a fullback, but he can do so much more. You don't see many fullbacks flexed outside and and making corners miss one-on-one in the open field. So very talented football player.
5th catch today for Marcel Reese. Gain of 6. It's 2nd and 4. Carr down the sideline for Butler, incomplete, but 2 flags are down at the 42 and 43 yard line. Gene Steratore trying to sort things out.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, defense, number 33, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's on E.J. Gaines.
Well, this is a mistake. Derek Carr got away with this right. Watch the safety right here. Derek Carr thought he had one-on-one on that part of the field over there. He made the pump fake. He's got to realize that safety is coming over the top. Had this ball been kept in the field of play, he might have had a receiver knocked out on that pass because he made up his mind he was going to throw it. That was not the place to go with the football.
Carr in trouble, and down he goes. Robert Quinn with his 7th sack of the season.
And you got to give credit again, Andrew, to the coverage on this play. There was pressure, no doubt about it, the pocket breaking down, but Derek Carr had nowhere to go with the football. You can see everywhere, nobody's open. The pressure coming up from Quinn on the outside. Derek Carr turned back right into him. Easy sack for Robert Quinn, who's one of the very best in the NFL.
Since 2012, only J.J. Watt has more sacks than Robert Quinn. Screen pass to McFadden. McFadden with a stiff arm across midfield and dragged down at the 44-yard line. There's a flag down, and they picked it up. So no flag, the play stands. 3rd down and 5. Well, one of the things the Raiders have to work on in the offseason is getting a deep threat downfield. They only have 4 passes this season that have gone for more than 20 yards. It's the fewest in the NFL. Faced here with 3rd and 5. Are broken up. Coverage on the play by Mark Barron. Acquired in that trade with Tampa Bay, and it's 4th down.
Well, again, you're going to see another short pass by Derek Carr. You hit it right, though, Andrew. The Raiders, a great play by Mark Barron there, but the Raiders, until they establish some more threats on the outside and scare teams into respecting them from a one-on-one standpoint, they're not going to be able to make those big plays. We talked about Derek Carr's average per attempt today, under 5 yards per attempt. The acceptable line in the NFL is 7%.
And they're going for it on 4th down and 5. 42 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Movement on the line. No flags. Carr in trouble. Throws one up for grabs. Broken up. But a flag comes in. T.J. McDonald got a hand on that one. But did he get a hand on the receiver before that? And they're indicating this is against the Raiders.
Pass interference. Offense, number 45. That penalty is declined. The result of the play will be 1st down, St. Louis.
Pass interference on Marcel Reese. So the Rams get the ball back with 37 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. So the Rams go back on offense with that 38-0 lead.
Check, ball string! Ball string!
Zach Stacy gets the call on 1st down across the 50 and nearly stayed on his feet. Now Jeff Fisher said he's very content with the running backs he has on this roster. Mason, Cunningham, and now Zach Stacy with a gain of 11.
Well, Charles Woodson got the worst of that one for sure. You know, that's the kind of play that makes a veteran of his experience. You know, you can see him shaking off that arm a little bit. Might have got a little bit of a stinger, but those are the kind of make you wonder in a game like this if it's all worth it.
That is the end of the third quarter with the Rams leading 38-0. We'll return to St. Louis after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. It was 38-0 at the half. It's still 38-0 as we start the fourth quarter. The Rams have the ball at the Oakland 45-yard line. First down and 10. Hill pitches it to Austin. On the move. Spins away and out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Well, it's been 20 years since there was a football team in Los Angeles. The Rams left in '94. The Raiders left in '94 north to Oakland. And you heard Jim Rome on the NFL Today, who lives in L.A., say that he does not think that L.A. would support a team unless it was a winner. And you played in L.A., Steve Berlon. You live close to L.A. now. What are your thoughts on that situation?
Well, regretfully, I agree with Jim Rome. I grew up in the Los Angeles area, been there most of my life, and it's just a different demographic out there. You know, it's not like Cleveland losing a team or Baltimore losing a team. This is a situation where there are so many other things that people are into out there other than football. You don't even hear people talking about it on a regular basis out there. When teams are doing well, they love them, and they'll go out and support them. When things get rough, and you're talking about the type of teams that might come back to L.A., they're not proven winning teams. It's going to be hard to get the support they need, I think.
And when the Rams were in San Diego last week, there was a large contingent of L.A. Rams fans that were chanting during that game, "Bring back the Rams." Up north to L.A., certainly St. Louis, one of the rumored teams to potentially go along with Oakland and possibly San Diego as well. Third down and 3 for the Rams. Hill looking for a deep shot to Britt, tied up, and there's the flag. T.J. Carey was all over him, and they're going to call pass interference on the rookie out of Ohio.
Yeah. No doubt pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 38. Spot of the foul, automatic. First down.
And back in college, where T.J. Carey was last year, they may not have called that, although I'd have a hard time believing he'd get away with that anywhere at any level. But the rules are so much different in the NFL, there's no chance that's not going to be called.
So it's first and goal for St. Louis. That's a 28-yard penalty. 8 penalties, 73 yards today for the Raiders. You see the red zone numbers for the Rams. Zach Stacy in at running back. On first down, Stacy gets to the 8-yard line, and it will be second down.
To revisit that L.A. topic, though, Andrew, not to beat a dead horse, but there are loyal fans in Los Angeles. I mean, the Lakers, the Dodgers, the Angels, you go down the list, there are loyal, but I don't think there's enough of those kind of people out there to support bringing a team out there. That doesn't mean they won't do it. I think they're going to be disappointed, though, if they do from that standpoint.
And Jim Rome used the word front runner for LA fans in his piece today on NFL Today. Second and goal. Mason cuts it back at the 5. Mason to the 2. Fighting. And he's in. Touchdown. Trey Mason. An 8-yard touchdown run. The 3rd touchdown today for the rookie out of Auburn.
Well, C.O. Moore, the linebacker for the Raiders, told us that he was looking forward to making a point to Trey Mason. He said, "This is a kid that's a tough runner, will not back down from anyone. We're going to make him regret that today." Well, Trey Mason's had the last laugh all day. The Raiders have not been able to provide an answer for him. Mason showing his strength and will to get in that end zone right there.
Once again, they'll take a look at it. But if it stands for Mason today, 15 touches, 165 yards. That's 11 yards per touch and 3 touchdowns for Mason. As they take a look, we'll step aside. Back to St. Louis in a moment. Here's Gene Steratore with the call.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So Trey Mason had 1 touchdown coming into today's game. He now has 4 in his NFL career. His 3rd of the day, and it's 44-0 in favor of the Rams. Career highs across the board for the 3rd-round pick out of Auburn. Now Zuerlein for the point after. And with 12:47 to go, it's 45-0. Trey Mason having a career day here against the Raiders. 45-0 Rams over the Raiders. 12:47 to go on a picture-perfect day in St. Louis. Jeff Fisher in his 3rd season with the St. Louis Rams. He was the LA Rams defensive coordinator in 1991. Atkinson has had a rough debut, and this will be a touchback for Zuerlein. Thursday Night Football returns this week. Tony Romo and the Cowboys take on the Bears as 2 of the NFL's greatest franchises meet in primetime. Thursday Night Football returns Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on NFL Network. And both quarterbacks had a rough Thanksgiving day. Romo with the 2 picks, Cutler with the 2 picks. And that's a big game, especially for the Cowboys in this crazy NFC playoff picture. And Matt Schaub is in at quarterback for the Raiders. Derek Carr's day appears to be done. Schaub has only thrown 1 pass this whole year. He's 0 for 1. McFadden, and they get to the outside, and he gets tackled at the 24. There were some people that thought Derek Carr maybe could use a mental break here down the stretch with all the losses piling up. He didn't want it. Got the win last week, but maybe this is just a chance for Tony Sparano to give Carr a chance to step back and take it in for a bit.
I think you're right, and I'd like to see him play his way through this and see what he can come up with. But, you know, he's been through a lot. It's been a tough day. It's been a long season. I think you can justify very, very strongly him not playing anymore today. You don't want him to get hurt and beat up.
Schaub guns one over the middle, and it's caught by Andre Holmes. Good arm strength by Matt Schaub. And a gain of 16, his first completion as a Raider.
Well, that arm strength has never been a question with Matt Schaub. He's had some big years in this league with a lot of a very, very impressive resume. Just kind of fell apart in the last couple of years in Houston, but he can still throw it for sure.
Acquired in a trade with the Texans in the offseason. Back to the air, and it's dropped by Michael Rivera. We go back to New York, an update with JB and Boomer.
Up next on CBS.
2 of the hottest teams in football, 2 of the hottest quarterbacks. Tom Brady averaging over 300 yards per game in this 7-game winning streak, and maybe the hottest quarterback in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers. They're playing at Lambeau Field, JB. Does it get any better or bigger than this?
Huge matchup indeed. Back to Andrew and Steve.
Can't wait for that one. Thank you so much, guys. A possible Super Bowl preview coming up on CBS between the Patriots and the Packers. 2nd down and 10 for Oakland, with Schaub into the game for Derek Carr. Jones-Drew at the 45, gets by 1 across the 50, and Jones-Drew with an Oakland first down. Well, coincidentally, ironically, whatever you want to say, it was Matt Schaub that took David Carr's job in Houston. And then Schaub, acquired in the offseason, thought he'd be the starter. Derek Carr was told, you're going to be the quarterback of the future, get a year on your belt sitting out. But Carr had a great preseason, and he took Schaub's job to start week 1 against the Jets. Schaub's pass incomplete, and a late flag comes in. That was Will Hayes, who may have hit Schaub a little bit late.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 95, contact with the quarterback's knee. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Well, there are 2 areas that are going to be protected all the time. If you're a quarterback in the NFL, it's going to be your head and anybody coming low for no reason. No reason for Hayes to come out and go low at Matt Schaub in that situation. Obviously trying to just get rid of the ball and protect himself. They're going to call that every time.
The penalty moves it to the 33-yard line for Oakland. This is the furthest they've been in St. Louis territory all day. Until now, they had not crossed the 37-yard line of the Rams. Now they have it at the 31. Second down and 9. Pressure coming. Jones with a nice catch. He's been right there. Let's go back to New York and update JP and Boomer.
Johnny Manziel.
It's Johnny football, 8 plays, 80 yards. 10-yard rush right here by Johnny Manziel. Gets Cleveland within 10, 20-10. Buffalo, he was 3 of 4 for 54 yards passing. He ran twice for 13 yards, and he's brought energy to the Browns.
Tony Gonzalez has been calling for him all year long. Back to Andrew Catalon.
Wow, and we saw the Browns last week. Steve and I and Brian Hoyer had a rough day, but did lead them on that late drive to get in field goal range. And Mike Pettin had seen enough. Interesting move for the Browns. A Schaub on 3rd and 3 is hit. Lost the football. Ball is out, and the Rams have recovered. Robert Quinn forced the fumble. Chris Long recovered, and it's the 4th turnover today forced by the St. Louis defense.
Matt Schaub is a pocket guy all the way around, and if anything, if you want to criticize anything, it's this. He will hold on to the ball back there and wait for things to happen. The result a lot of times is that blind side hit with the ball coming out.
Sean Hill's day appears to be done. 13 out of 22, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. The new Rams quarterback is Austin Davis, second-year player out of Southern Miss. Start this drive on the ground with Trey Mason. And St. Louis will just try to use as much of the clock as possible. On that last update, you saw that Johnny Manziel is into the game for the Cleveland Browns. And here's a look at the rookie quarterbacks this year, and Derek Carr has been the best of the bunch. These are the numbers entering today. Manziel has led Cleveland on a touchdown drive, but Derek Carr with the 36th pick has been a big find for the Raiders, although he did have a tough day today.
That's an understatement. The Raiders in general, very, very tough day. Derek Carr hopefully learned a lot, and we'll see how he can finish out the year.
Mason and Pat Sims gets through to make that stop.
That Manziel thing, though, Andrew, is a matter of time. The Brian Hoyer, we've had him several times this year, and of the 4 games we've had him, he's only played well in 1 of those games, and even that was only well for half the game. So they were finding ways to win. You can't justify making a move if your team is winning, but the coach is only going to take it for so long. They got down in the game today, and Johnny Manziel has provided that spark he's been looking for.
3rd down and 11 for the Rams. Gets up to close to the 40-yard line, but St. Louis will be forced to punt with 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. St. Louis about to win its 3rd straight at home. Those 3 wins: Seattle, Denver, and now Oakland.
Jeff Fisher knows a couple of things. He knows a lot about football, but he knows he's got a pretty darn good football team. And, you know, this is a team that very easily could be in the playoff hunt at this point, but they can't play with anybody.
High punt, bounces at the 2 and into the end zone. 7:23 to go in the 4th. The Rams in control. Back in St. Louis, the Rams on the verge of improving to 5-7 as they lead at 45-0. With 17-year NFL vet Steve Berline, I'm Andrew Catalon. We thank you for joining us. Week 13 of the NFL on CBS. Matt Schaub remains at quarterback for the Raiders. This is his 2nd drive. Fumbled on his 1st drive. That's a nice catch by Kenbrell Tompkins. How about some of the numbers from around the league so far today? A feast for fantasy football players as Ryan Fitzpatrick has 6 touchdowns in his return as the Texans starting quarterback. Rushing leaders, well, Trey Mason is right up there. LaShawn McCoy played on Thanksgiving Day. And how about receiving leaders? DeAndre Hopkins, 238 through the air for the Texans. They're all over the Tennessee Titans. Job to Reese. And Ogletree drags him out of bounds. DeAndre Hopkins, though, is really a changing the guard there in Houston, with Andre Johnson starting to slow down a bit and Hopkins continuing to emerge.
Yep, and you combine that with, obviously there was a strong connection with Ryan Fitzpatrick coming back after 2 games off, being replaced by Ryan Mallett. Now Fitzpatrick there to finish out the year.
Schaub is nearly intercepted. McDonald had his hands on that one but couldn't bring it in.
Well, McDonald would love another shot at this one. He had both hands on it, got up. Look how high he got up for that football. But
well, coming up after the game, time permitting, the NFL Today update presented by LGG3. JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, Coach Cower, they'll have all the latest NFL scores and highlights. 2nd down and 10. Schaub is sacked. Aaron Donald with his 6th sack of the season. The rookie out of Pittsburgh is certainly in the conversation for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
did Laurinaitis call him a midget in our meeting, I think, yesterday? That he's only 6'1", but what a motor he has, and he uses that leverage, the natural leverage, as we've heard it described a few times this year. Incredible player.
5 sacks today by the St. Louis defense. And now 3rd and 18. Schaub in trouble again, steps up, chased by Long, and he's intercepted. What an interception! That is Tremaine Johnson, and it's a pick 6. Something Matt Schaub knows very well in his career. Tremaine Johnson with a pick 6, and St. Louis with a 50-burger on the Raiders.
A 50-burger. I don't know if I've ever heard it referred to as that. I love it. Matt Schaub, I don't think he thought Tremaine Johnson was going to make the play. The ball came out of his hand a lot lower than he intended. I'm sure he was trying to put it on the sideline, but Tremaine Johnson, boy, what a great job of squeezing that football. That was not thrown softly, and he knew what to do with it as soon as he squeezed it.
Last year, Matt Schaub threw a pick 6 in 4 straight games, and he throws one here against the Rams. 17 points off turnovers today for St. Louis. Well, this is the first time that St. Louis has scored 50 points in a game since 2000, when they had 57 against San Diego. 237 games since the last time they put 50 on the scoreboard. It's 52-0.
Well, the motivation for the Raiders now is simply to get that goose egg off the board for them. That would just add injury to insult. Tremendous play by Tremaine Johnson, though. Kimbrell Tompkins was open on the sideline, and I think Matt Schaub got caught up in looking at him, didn't realize Johnson was sitting there outside. Paid the price for it.
Well, that trade between the Texans and the Raiders in the offseason was a 6th-round pick for Matt Schaub. Texans used that 6th-round pick on Alfred Blue, who's had a great year in Houston. And with Arian Foster sidelined by injuries throughout the course of the year, Blue has made a big difference for Houston.
No doubt. They have needed him to step up, and he has. You're right. That Arian Foster, one of the best running backs in the league, but you need to have an insurance policy for those workhorses, and Alfred Blue has come through big.
Atkinson will take this one out. And he doesn't get to the 15-yard line. Clock stops with 5:19 to go in the fourth quarter. Schaub coming back out. Two-time Pro Bowler, now 33 years of age. And unfortunately, the pick six are something that has haunted Schaub, especially last year.
Yeah, you know, last year that became a mental thing for him, and you get these things in your head, you start aiming and guiding and trying to protect yourself against making those mistakes, and they end up coming more in bunches.
McFadden going in the wrong direction, and again, the running back situation has been a problem for Oakland this year. McFadden, Jones-Drew just have not gotten it going. There was the bright spot last week with Murray, but now he's out with the concussion. And again, it appears to us, and we've had the Raiders a couple times this year, they have some playmakers on defense. They have some young guys they can build around. They appear to have a quarterback in Carr, but they need more weapons on offense. See the numbers today, not pretty on the ground. Schaub, and he just throws this one away.
Yeah, it works hand in hand, Andrew. You know, when you don't have people on the outside that scare a defense, where they're afraid to cover them one-on-one, where they want to keep a safety back and take away the passing game and not give you those one-on-one matchups, they load up the box to take away the run. So now you're running into a run-stacked defense every time you play, every time you set foot on the field. That's really hard to do on a consistent basis. You've got to get teams out of that 8-man front. If you don't scare them on the outside, it's not going to happen.
Third down and 9. Schaub chased from behind, lost the football. Quinn stripped it loose, and the Raiders fall on it. Robert Quinn with a big second half. Second time today he's forced a fumble.
He is a beast off the edge. As good as anybody in the NFL coming off the edge. He runs right past the tackle, but and he's got that natural instinct of how to get to the football. You see Chris Long enjoying watching again from the sideline, but Robert Quinn as good as it gets on the edge.
Kevin Booth recovered the fumble for the Raiders. And it's the 8th punt today for Marquette King. Austin with a fair catch call at the 43. Well, let's take a look at the NFC playoff picture, and wow, it's just crazy how many teams are in the hunt. And you look specifically at the teams in the NFC West. Arizona leads the division, Seattle at 8-4, San Fran at 7-5 after the Thanksgiving night loss to the Seahawks, and then the Rams at 5-7.
Yeah, it's a stacked division. There's a lot of things that are going to happen. I was really surprised on Thanksgiving Day with the whooping that the Philadelphia Eagles, you mentioned it earlier, Andrew, put on the Dallas Cowboys. I really thought Dallas was going to step up at home on Thursday, but no, Philadelphia in control of that division.
Austin Davis still at quarterback, and Stacy on the carry into Oakland territory. So Austin Davis will finish this game out. He started 8 games this year while Sean Hill was first injured and then really had the hot hand. And finally, Jeff Fisher made a change before the Denver game, and he told us yesterday when he sat down Austin Davis and said that, hey, you're not going to be the quarterback anymore, I'm going back to Sean Hill, that Davis said, you know what, I have so much respect for the people who play in this league at a high level each and every week. And Jeff Fisher was so impressed by that he went and then told the team what Austin Davis said. And the entire locker room started clapping for Austin Davis.
And that says a lot about the kind of young man Austin Davis is, because it is really hard to articulate via any form of media how difficult it is to play the position unless you've been there and done it. And for him to have the presence to say, you know what, Coach, I understand. I now realize what it takes to be a great quarterback in this league, and I understand you know, it is amazing how those guys do what they do on Sundays and make it look so easy.
Meanwhile, second-year undrafted player out of Southern Miss got some great experience this year, which Fisher said he thinks will help him down the road. 3rd and 1. And the Rams aren't going to get there. That takes us to the 2-minute warning in St. Louis. 52-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 4th and 2, and Johnny Hecker is out to punt it away for the Rams. They put the finishing touches on a 52-0 win. TJ Carey is back deep to receive this punt for the Raiders. Last time Oakland was shut out 2 years ago, December 16th against Kansas City. Saturday, it's the season premiere of NCAA basketball on CBS as Frank Kaminsky leads number 2 Wisconsin against in-state rival Marquette. That's right here on the road to the Final Four, CBS Sports. And here is the last shutout by the Rams. It was at Oakland in 2006, a 20-0 final score. Maurice Jones-Drew is met by Will Hayes. It gives us a chance to say happy birthday to our esteemed director, Andy Goldberg, who just had a big one on Thanksgiving Day. Don't want to give it away, but almost as many points as the Rams have. Andy has had birthdays now.
Yes, there he is. Congratulations to the...
Well, here he is. Class of 1987 at Washington University, right here in St. Louis. He's still got the same hair.
He does, and the same smile.
Yes. So, Andy, again, we're not going to reveal the birthday that he had, but again, it's very close to how many points the Rams have, and it's a big one for Andy. Take a look at the final few games here for the Rams the rest of the season. Next week they go to Washington. Then they also have 2 division games left against Arizona here in St. Louis, and then they close it out at Seattle against the Seahawks.
Well, Jeff Fisher, I think, is very comfortable. We've talked about it several times with this football team, where they're at, and I think he truly believes, and he's convinced Sam Bradford that he believes in him, that if they get him back and healthy, they can have him for a season, this team can do something special.
That could be the final play of the game. Let's look at the Raiders' final 4 games. Bay Area battle next week against San Francisco, and then Kansas City, Buffalo, and Denver. Raiders will not run another play. And it's a shutout for Jeff Fisher and the St. Louis Rams. Final score, St. Louis 52, Oakland 0. For Steve Berline, this is Andrew Catalon saying so long from St. Louis. The Rams improved to 5-7. Time now for the NFL Today update presented by LG G3. Let's go to James Brown in New York.